All right, in this lesson right here, Zach's going to finish constraining all of the various hardware pieces up to the alien.
Absolutely. We're pretty much done. Really,
We've only got, what, the backpack and the pistol to go.
the pistol, and then really, if you want to get technical, we got to constrain the holster as well.
Exactly.
But other than that, we're pretty much done. The only constraint we're going to be using from here on out, excuse me, is the parent-child constraint.
While there is some things you definitely need to be aware of, especially when we start working with the pistol and the holster.
Exactly. We'll get to that. We'll jump off that bridge when we come to it. But first, I'm going to go ahead and I'm looking over here down in my scene browser, and I've got all of these the IKA. I've got all these constraints from my helmet still available here. So I'm going to go ahead and take a second and organize everything once again.
Just keeping everything nice and clean looking.
So just like I did last time, I'm going to insert a folder. We'll rename it. Call it Helmet Constraints. And then I'm just going to drag all of my various constraints into it. Now everything's nice and organized.
All right, so it's a time to attack the backpack.
The time to attack the backpack. Exactly. That was nice. So, like I said earlier, what we're going to need is a parent-child constraint. Go ahead and drag one into the scene. Lock your window first thing. Double-click the backpack. Alt-drag it into the child position, the constrained object position. And now we're going to be constraining that directly to one of the joints of the spine. In this case, spine 3. So I'm going to go under Scene, under Reference, Hips, Spine, Spine 1, 2, and 3. I didn't really need to open up 3, but that's fine. We'll go ahead and just drag it straight over.
You got to kind of click and hold on it for a second.
Yeah. There we go. So now that's all in place. We just go ahead and snap this guy, as opposed to just activating him, because we've already got an offset that we'd like to keep, and really the backpack is done. So we can test it. We can go ahead and grab his arm and pull it forward, and the backpack comes along with him very nicely.
Very nice.
So before I go any further, I'm going to do the same thing that I did with the helmet, and then I'm going to add a folder for this guy. Now, some of you out there who are following along might think to yourself, why would you add a folder just for a single constraint? Well, later on, if we wanted to add another piece of equipment to this guy, like maybe something that actually clipped onto the backpack, it would be nice to have a folder that we can actually put all of those further constraints into. So I'll rename this to Backpack Constraints, and we'll just drag this parent-child into it, and everything's fine. So actually we're ready to go on to the holster and the pistol.
And this one you need to handle very delicately because there is an order in which things need to take place.
Exactly. There are several things here which could bite you. This last bit seems really simple at first. I mean, it is simple as long as you keep a few general guidelines in mind. So I'm going to start off by just dragging in, of course, another parent-child
Actually,
constraint.
before you even start parenting, kind of talk just for a second about the order in which they need to be parented and why.
Okay, well, just, if you sit back and think about exactly what you're looking for here, we have, as Buzz said, we have a specific order that we need things to be calculated, if you will, within Motion Builder. First and foremost, we need this holster to be parented to one of the joints inside the leg. We're going to be using right up leg roll, I believe, and we're going to be parenting directly to that. Then underneath that, the next thing we need to calculate is a constraint that's going to parent our gun group. We actually have a group that comprises our pistol and its ammunition chamber. We'll have that group parented to the holster itself. So the pistol group will be the child, the holster will be the parent.
Right.
Then after that, we're going to have another constraint where the right hand is going to be a parent, and once again the pistol group is going to be the child.
Right.
That's going to allow our character to actually pick up his gun. The gun will actually go to an offset position in the palm of his hand.
And when we go to connect up the hand constraint, the constraint with the hand, we're going to have to actually move it down to the pistol so that we do not accidentally mess up our offset with the pistol in relationship to the holster.
Exactly. But first things first, let's go ahead and set the holster up. I'm going to double click on it and just real quick and easy, just alt drag it into the constrained object cell.
Okay.
And it's still called polysurface 4, not holster, but that's okay. And to select the proper bone, I'm just going to come back up here to my skeletal hierarchy.
Of course, you could select it in the viewer. It's all up to you.
I could. You try to double click it. I got it on the first try. Very nice. So just to maybe speed things up, since I've already got him selected, I'll just alt drag him from here. And just go ahead and snap that. So we can test that if we want to, but I want to go ahead and get the pistol group already constrained before we try to test this out, just to save a little bit of time. I told everybody this one was going to be short, so I'm going to try to be a man of my word. So our pistol group is still called Group 1. This was called into Maya without being renamed, and just kind of as an example to show that things that you import like this can very easily be renamed inside of Motion Builder. I'm just going to right-click, select Rename, and call this Pistol Group. If we look inside it, we'll notice we've got Pistol 1, this piece of geometry, and the chamber, which is this piece of geometry. Very nice. So go ahead and close that back up because we don't really need to be playing with those actual pieces of geometry. We want the group as a whole. And let's go ahead and put another parent-child constraint in here. The pistol group will be the constrained object. There we go. And then we'll double-click the holster again, and then just alt-drag it into the cell. And then we'll snap this constraint into place. And now we can go ahead and take a second and test this out. We take our leg, and we translate it around. Whoop, got a little bit of a problem there. Let me see if I can diagnose where that came from just real quick. Nothing to be concerned of just right this minute. Okay, so
it was just
that was just Motion Builder saying, I want to scare the daylight out of you.
Yeah.
That's fine. We've put Motion Builder through the ringers tonight. It's probably not too happy having to share precious memory with all of our recording software, so that's fine, you know?
Okay, so actually right there, while both of us just paused, everything was actually fine, as you can see.
Everything was fine. We just had a brief update problem in the viewer. No big deal at all. Just give it a second chance and everything was fine. No problem, so we're ready to move right along as Zach wipes a little bead of sweat off his brow.
Okay, so the last thing to do now is to go ahead and constrain the pistol to the hand.
Absolutely. So to do that, I'm just going to kind of let you guys in on a little bit of a secret. We could just grab this pistol group, move it out here to the hand, and then snap that constraint.
Ooh, but this causes a little bit of a problem.
This does cause a little bit of a problem because if we do that, we're damaging the offset that we just set up between the pistol and the holster. So to do this and do it well, what we're actually going to do is take the wrist itself, move it down to the pistol, and establish our constraint there. So just to make things a little easier, I'm going to take a moment and hide my skeleton just to get rid of all those big unsightly joints, also to allow us to see how well the palm is lining up with the pistol. And I'll just move this guy in place. It's getting pretty close already. We'll rotate him a little bit. Now, I'm not animating right now, so I'm not going to worry about hand poses or actually making him grip the gun. I just pretty much need it to be in the right position, the position it needs to be when he's grabbing it. So actually, that's looking very good for this particular example. So I'm going to go ahead and drag another parent-child constraint into the scene. Our constrained object is going to be our pistol group. And now our source, or our parent again, is going to be the actual hand bone, the right hand joint, if you will. So I'm just going to, instead of turning my bones back on, I'll just look it up inside of here, inside my hierarchy, inside the scene browser. We'll go down the right shoulder until we find right hand. We'll drag it in, and now we'll snap it into place as well. So now if we zoom out, first thing, let me take the weight on this constraint and crank it down to 0. And then I'm just going to take my hand and put it back out here pretty close to where it belongs for his T stance. Now, there are several ways I could do this. I could go tell it to take a stance over here, but just to kind of keep things quick and easy, we'll put everything pretty much back like it was to begin with. That's looking pretty good, I think. And now, if we adjust the weight on this constraint, we're going to see our pistol do something kind of cool.
Magic.
Yes. So really, that is the entire key behind animating a character who's interacting with an object. You have a weighted parent-child constraint or relationship, and then you adjust that weight to make it go from your first constrained object, in this case a holster, or in our original example like a table, and then when your hand comes through to pick it up, you adjust all of that weight to the hand, and your object will flow to it. Now, typically what we're going to be doing, and what you're going to see when I start animating, is that we'll actually move the hand right over the actual grip of the gun, and then when we change over that weight, you're not going to see the pistol actually move at all. In 1 second, it'll be part of the holster. The next second, when the hand moves, the pistol's coming with it. So it's actually going to look like the character picks up the pistol and moves with it.
Very nice. So let me ask you this, just to wrap it up, since you've pretty much got everything on there now constrained properly to the character. Can you now slap some quick motion on him and let's check it out?
Absolutely. For now, though, I'm going to leave his pistol in his holster. And since we do have the clip art CD loaded in here, we can just go under motions.
What about the good kung fu kick thing?
Templates, elements. Actually, motions doesn't seem to be loaded up in here.
Do we not have those?
No.
Yeah, let's take a quick look at what we've got here. Oh, that's right. We can't do that right now because, yeah, we did some updating. That's okay, because we're about to start animating anyways. I forgot. Basically, what I did is I updated to 4.02 earlier today, and when we did that, all of my favorites have not been reset back up.
Absolutely.
So, not a problem. Anyways, this is good enough. We've got everything constrained, and we saw that everything works fine. And in the next lesson, we're going to start animating anyway, so that's...
So there you go.
Yeah, that's definitely going to have everything following along, or else we'll just be in trouble at that point.
Absolutely.
So that's going to wrap this lesson up right here, and we'll then move into roughing out the animation. Thanks a lot.
Okay.